Nisha stood at the edge of the empty lot, the early morning sun painting long shadows over the cracked pavement. The neighborhood had changed so much, but this forgotten patch of earth remained the same. A wild tangle of weeds, broken bottles, and discarded memories. As a child, Nisha had played here with her friends, planting tiny flowers in the rich soil, dreaming about the future they would build together. Now, years later, those dreams felt distant, like whispers she could barely recall. When the city declared plans to build a community park, excitement buzzed through the streets. But the lot stood untouched, the promise still waiting. For many, it was just a project, a line on a budget sheet, but for Nisha, it was something more, a chance to rediscover hope. Determined, Nisha gathered a small group of neighbors, young and old, and shared her vision. "This place can be alive again," she told them, eyes bright with conviction. "A garden where all our stories can take root." Skepticism hung heavy in the air. "What can a few plants change?" muttered an old man, arms crossed. "We've tried before," added a young woman. "Nobody cares enough to keep it alive." Nisha smiled gently. "That's exactly why we need to try again. Every seed is a promise, not just to the earth, but to ourselves." With gloves and tools borrowed from the local center, the group began their work. They pulled weeds, cleared glass, and turned the tired earth. Each day, new hands joined, children with muddy knees, elders with stories to share, even passerby curious about the quiet change. Life slowly returned. Marigolds brightened corners. Sunflowers reached for the sky. A small patch of herbs released fresh scents. The garden was more than plants. It was a gathering of hopes, dreams, and healing. One afternoon, Sarita, a widow known for her sharp tongue, approached hesitantly. "This place looks different," she said, touching a blooming rose. "Maybe life can bloom after loss." Nisha held her hand. "This garden grows because people are willing to believe in new beginnings, no matter the past." Months passed. The garden became a sanctuary where laughter echoed, stories were exchanged, and burdens felt lighter. During a festival, children danced barefoot between blossoms. Elders shared meals on blankets spread beneath the trees. Nisha often sat on a bench, watching the transformation within the garden and herself. She realized the garden was a daily lesson in patience and resilience, a living metaphor for life's potential, even in the driest soil. One evening, as the sun dipped low, Nisha found a note left on a freshly picked daisy. It read, "Thank you for reminding me that hope is something you plant, nurture, and help bloom." Her eyes misted as she whispered, "The greatest gardens grow from faith, courage, and love." But it had not been a smooth journey. There were weeks when the heat burned the new shoots, when vandals tossed trash in the flower beds, and progress felt impossibly slow. Some volunteers drifted away, weary of setbacks. But Nisha never allowed the garden to be forgotten. Each morning she swept paths clean, watered the roots, smiled at those who only passed by, indifferent. She pressed seeds into the hands of children and asked them to plant wishes. "A garden grows best when everyone's hope is rooted in it," she would say. Slowly, change became contagious. Rahul, a once cynical shopkeeper, began bringing compost. Priya, whose laughter rarely escaped her shy lips, started leading art classes amidst the tall grasses for neighborhood children. Sarita, her grief softening in the warmth of new friendships, found joy teaching young mothers to tend roses and mint. When city officials finally arrived to review the progress, they found not just plants, but a tapestry of connection. Neighbors who'd barely exchanged words now greeted each other as friends. The garden produced not only beauty, but safety and trust. Even strangers who entered for a moment's rest soon became regulars. The reporters asked Nisha, "What makes this garden special?" She answered, "Every blossom here is proof that nobody is truly alone. All of us are gardened by someone's kindness, and we grow when we choose to garden others in return." By the garden gate, she hung a sign that read, "Here, hope is perennial. On the anniversary of the first planting, the whole community gathered for a festival under lanterns and soft music. Nisha looked out at the crowd, children weaving among tomato vines, elders sharing stories of lost springs, new friends holding hands. The garden was an emblem of second chances and quiet revolution. That night, after the last guest left, Sarita pressed a note into Nisha's hand. You've proved that sometimes the greatest difference isn't in what a person grows, but in what she helps others grow in themselves. Nisha stood among the moonlit blooms, humbled and amazed. No matter the past or present hardship, new beginnings are always possible when you have the courage to start. Growth, like gardens, requires patience, care, and belief, even when results are slow to show. A single act of hope can bring people together to create lasting beauty and connection. The roots of resilience run deep, even in the toughest environments. Nurture them daily. Your willingness to believe in tomorrow can transform not just your life, but your whole community. Let Nisha's story remind you, the smallest seed of hope carries within it the power to change the world, one new beginning at a time.